The president of Rwanda, Paul Kagame, says he would like to see a situation where the relationship between South Africa and Rwanda returns to normalcy. In an exclusive interview with SABC News international editor Sophie Mokoena in Kigali, President Kagame says Pretoria played a key role in helping Kigali build the capacity of the state after the 1994 genocide that led to the killing of 1 million people. Now, on Sunday, Rwanda will mark 30 years since that tragedy. And for more on the story, let's cross over to our colleague, SABC News' international editor, Sophie Mokoena, who is in Kigali, Rwanda. Sophie, a very good morning to you. But perhaps we can begin by talking about the relationship between South Africa and Rwanda. How is it at the moment?
Well, Liane, thank you. The relationship between South Africa and Rwanda was good, starting from 1994 up to 2008. And you would be aware that during that time, from 1994 to 1999, it was former President Nelson Mandela and then former President Thabo Mbeki from 1999 to 2008. And President Kagame says after 2008 and up to now, the relations are not what they would like to see them be. And we know that there has been lots of issues around issues of those people who committed genocide in Rwanda, who fled to different countries. And we are told that some of them are in South Africa. You know that there's a court case currently in Cape Town where one person was apprehended who has been accused of being involved in the genocide. But the issue that almost led to even more tougher relations, it was when the former intelligence leader of Rwanda, who was fired, Kagame saying he was fired for corruption and other issues, was killed in South Africa. And there was strong suspicion and accusations that the government of Rwanda had a hand. And therefore, that led to some tension. But Paul Kagame is saying that he would like to see the relationship improving. And he pointed out that in 1994 up to 2008, South Africa assisted them to build capacity, which is a sad story because when you look at the civil service and the commitment of young people who are deployed in different SOEs here in Rwanda, you'll see that there's professionalism, there's capacity, but South Africa has regressed in terms of governance. Let's take a listen at what Paul Kagame had to say about this issue, particularly 30 years since the genocide, 30 years South Africa celebrating democracy, and at that time South Africa couldn't assist Rwanda because South Africa was also dealing with conflict in some parts of the country ahead of elections. And we are back again ahead of elections, 30 years on democracy and 30 years on commemoration of the genocide. Let's hear what Paul Kagame had to say.
Mandela, Mbeki, and on up to that period, we had very good relationship. Not only good in other senses, but very beneficial. We have a lot of young people who were allowed to come to South Africa and study, and many of them were victims, others of genocide, others were even children of perpetrators. We sent a big number, it is there are hundreds over time. And because South Africa facilitated
the Sun City talks.
Absolutely. And also facilitated how these people should come there, and they were almost paying school fees as at the level of South Africans, which was a wonderful thing. There was no issue of visa, there was no... And it was a huge contribution to what we have today, in fact, in terms of progress. These young people, anyone you meet here who is around 30 over 30 will tell you they have been to South Africa to study during that period. So it's a wonderful thing. And then after that, we started wondering what was going on. Up to 2010, then there's this man who died in South Africa, who used to head
the intelligence.
Well, the first question is, why would somebody, even who was heading intelligence here, be in South Africa as a refugee? It is both ways. Well, here you can ask, why did he run from here?
Well, you heard Paul Kagame speaking, but we know that President Cyril Ramaphosa will be in Rwanda on Sunday to be part of the commemoration. As you know that the ICJ court case against Israel, South Africa is pointing out what happened in Rwanda when the world looked away and million people being killed. And it is for that reason South Africa wants an intervention to avert or to avoid a genocide in Gaza. And I think this is an important moment to really also lobby African heads of states who will be here, an international community, among them the former president of the United States of America, Bill Clinton, will be here to talk about these things also behind the scenes. And we'll bring you more information today and tomorrow and on the day. The former president of South Africa, Thabo Mbeki, will also be here. The Minister of International Relations, Dr. Naledi Pandor, will be in Kigali with President Cyril Ramaphosa on Sunday. Back to you, Leanne.
Sophie, thank you very much for that, coming to us from Kigali, Rwanda, ahead of those commemorations, 30 years since the Rwandan Genocide. Incredible. So good to see that our president will be there amongst a lot of other dignitaries as well.